right, now we're going to talk briefly about the Crusades. So, the essential question is, how has conflict during the Middle Ages led to cultural diffusion and the growth of cities? There will be cultural diffusion when the Crusades happen. So when we discuss the Crusades are going to be a series of wars between Christians and Muslims to control the Holy Land. Muslims and Christians both have a buy-in with the city of Jerusalem and areas in the Middle East because both places were walked by Jesus of Nazareth and Muhammad. And remember that both faiths worship the same God. So there will be this issue with the Christians feeling like they need to take these holy areas away from the Muslims who actually reside there, which means they live there. So here's what your crusades look like. You have the first, second, third, and children's crusades here, and then the Crusader kingdom. So these are the areas like Edessa, Enoch, Tripoli, and Jerusalem were taken. These cities were fought over between Christian crusaders, and Muslims. So when we talk about it, what's the main cause of the Crusades? So you have Muslim control of the Holy Land, or as the Christians deem it, they have control of the Holy Land. But the Christians want to take it from the Muslims. The Byzantine emperor feared the Muslim Turks during this time would destroy Constantinople, which was the capital city. So the Byzantine Empire is worried about Turks. The Muslims are, residing and living there. And then Pope Urban, who is in Europe, is going to call for Christians to join a crusade at the Council of Clermont and promised all sins would be forgiven. So he says, if you go fight for Jesus and us European Christians, you will be forgiven of all your sins. And so this is a quote: Christians, hasten to help your brothers in the East, for they are being attacked. Arm for the rescue of Jerusalem under your captain Christ. Wear your cross as his badge, and if you are killed, your sins will be pardoned. So the Pope makes a giant statement of if you kill these Muslims and take the land from them, they'll be saved. So what are the effects, though, of the Crusades? Well, first of all, these battles will go on for years. Muslims will die, Christians will die. But the plus side is that trade will increase because the Muslims were extremely advanced in the Middle Ages, far more advanced than Europeans. And so trade will increase. Kings will gain more powers because many of the people that would fought in the Crusades were knights, which were warriors. Knowledge of Muslim culture. People will be familiar with Islam. They'll be familiar with the Quran. And it's going to spread through Europe. And then they'll have a relationship between Christians and Jews, which will become increasingly strained. Christians will even persecute not just Muslims during this time, but also Jews. And it's because the Jews are not willing to fight in the Crusades because it's not their belief in taking the Holy Land. So there are, three big significant things of the Crusades. Economic, it enhanced trade and brought spices and textiles, which in your notes you might want to add that textiles are fabrics to Europe. The political aspect is many knights and nobles died, leaving land vulnerable to the king who took control. And all these kings in Europe become more powerful. And then your social is going to be relationships between Christians, Jews, become strained. But then you have Muslim culture spreads. All right, and we'll talk about culture later.